Hey, what's up, everyone? Back to cover this Saturday slate. We got a nice slate for NBA tonight. It is also the debut of the XFL, so if you guys are going to be playing that, I know both sites have some nice contests. Probably give it a shot just to see what it's all about. But for NBA tonight, we got an 8-game slate. Excited for it, so let's get started here. You can drop a like down below, subscribe if you have not already. Try to get 200 likes on the video if we can. I did spent the last hour looking at some of these new rotations, figuring out who should benefit, who should probably be starting, and I feel like I have a pretty good pulse on the slate as of now. I'm sure in a couple hours there will be a major bombshell of a player being out or something like that. But let's get started here at point guard. The ones that I'm really interested in are like Devin Booker 83. I think it's still viable at home here. But Kyle Lowry is doubtful tonight, so that means Van Fleet is going to get a huge chunk of minutes at point guard. He's probably going to play 40-plus minutes tonight as well. It's a good matchup against Brooklyn. He looks good. Price tag did go up a little bit, but it's still not where it kind of should be without Lowry in there. I like Drew Holiday quite a bit, especially if Brandon Ingram is out dealing with an ankle injury. 67 is just really cheap for Holiday. If Ingram's in, then I don't think you have to play him. But if Ingram's out, I think Holiday would be a nice option to go to. And I still like Reggie Jackson in probably assuming Derrick Rose is out. Don't think he'll be back tonight. Just so many minutes to go around for the Pistons with all the trades they made, a lot more usage. Jackson is going to just go out there and chuck. He loves to shoot. It's a good matchup against New York. Their defense is awful. Only concern is it is a back-to-back, but I do like the fact that they are at home tonight. And Karis LeVert also looks good, 6,300, as does Jamal Murray, 61. LeVert, he could probably play a small forward just because there are a lot of point guards that look good today. And then for some cheap value options, it's Terrence Davis at 3,800. I love. It's going to be him, and then another value is going to be Kai Bowman is back in our lives here. The Warriors traded away basically three-quarters of their team, so they are very thin right now, and Draymond is dealing with a back injury, as we would have all expected. So Draymond is probably not going to want to play with his team right now, especially against the Lakers, as they're going to get their asses kicked. But 30,000 for Bowman, assuming he starts. Even if he comes off the bench, should see mid-20s in minutes. If he starts, he probably get close to 30 minutes, if not like 31, 32, just because of how thin they are. They not only traded away D'Angelo Russell, but they traded away a lot of other pieces like Glenn Robinson, Alec Burks, Spellman's gone. Just a lot of trades for them, and they only brought in one player, which was Wiggins. But right now, I think that a $6,100 Jamal Murray looks good. Will Barton is out today, so that's more usage to go around. He'll probably be starting next to Gary Harris and Torian Craig, neither of whom are very high usage players. I mean, Craig is not very high, and Harris is having an awful season. And then at power forward, Millsap's back, but he'd probably be on a limit. So really, it's going to be Murray and Jokic running the pick and roll quite a bit and having a lot of usage in this game. It's a great matchup against Phoenix on a back-to-back. I think they're going to be a little bit tired defensively. Their defense isn't very good as it stands, and on a back-to-back, it should be kind of worse. Just love the price tag on Jamal Murray, and his minutes are pretty high. Don't expect 43 minutes. That was when they only had 7 active players, or 8 active players, but I think 7 played. So it's just a lot of it's just still going to be like 30-plus minutes for Murray, probably 33, 34, but still think you can pay off a $6,100 salary easily. On to shooting guard, I am looking at Van Fleet, Holiday. They look good at their prices. And I would say for some value at this position, we have RJ Barrett could be a fine value option, assuming he's not on a minutes limit like he was last game. And I would say that Terrence Davis looks good at 3,800. And then I would like Beasley a lot at 3,200 for Malik Beasley. He should start here, or assuming he starts at shooting guard. The Timberwolves are also very differently constructed. They brought in 7 new players. And, it should be D'Angelo Russell, Beasley, maybe Culver, Towns, and then they'll probably throw in like Hernan Gomez maybe at the 4. But this team is completely different. I think 3,200 for Beasley should get a good amount of minutes tonight. He looks good as a value option. But I still like Terrence Davis just because his role is secure. And Kyle Lowry played like 28 minutes yesterday, and Davis still got 25 minutes. And without Lowry today, without Powell, without probably Gasol, there are just a lot of minutes to go around, and Davis should absorb a lot. He should play 30-plus minutes tonight. They don't really have a lot of bodies right now. They, out of their core players, like it's just Siakam and Van Fleet, and that's pretty much it. Then you have Davis and Ibaka, jumping into the starting lineup. Ibaka's kind of a core player too, but he was coming off the bench earlier. But they are pretty, and then Anunoby just doesn't shoot that much. So Davis is going to take a lot of shots probably, and he's been pretty good. He has the ability to crush his salary. The minute should be there tonight. At small forward, I like Paul George, 8,400. So Beverly's out today. His minutes have kind of been all over the place, like 25, 31, 26, 19. So you don't really know what he's going to get. A lot of these games did kind of get out of hand late, but I think you could still see like 40, like you should expect 40-plus fantasy points out of Paul George. If he somehow gets a good amount of minutes tonight, like 35, 36, the way he's been playing, he can easily have like a 50, 60-point outing. He's at a very cheap price point. So he's a guy that I like at 84. I love Kelly Oubre again. Kelly Oubre is such a good player to watch. As I mentioned yesterday, he's just so active out there on the court. Put up a 59 burger. I don't mind going back to him just because the minutes are so high for him. Probably could have played 40 minutes if that game was remotely close against Houston. They just love running a core group of guys, their starters, to the ground. And Karis LeVert, 6,300, is another guy that I'm going to. Just like the price point. On LeVert, the minutes are good for him. It was a 40-point blowout against Golden State. Only saw 27 minutes, so lost like 5 or 6 minutes at least. Was well on his way to another 45-point outing. Still at only 6,300. He's definitely taken over 20 shots in each game. Just super aggressive. And, missing Lowry, their defense is going to be a little bit worse. So I don't mind going to LeVert here. Over at power forward, I like Siakam a lot at 8,200. Oubre, 7,300. But it looks like it's Christian Wood season for Detroit finally. They're giving him starting minutes. They don't really have that much of a choice. But we know how good this guy is offensively. It's always just been if he's going to get the minutes. And now that Drummond is shipped and with all the injuries they're dealing with, there are a lot of minutes to go around. Played 35 minutes against OKC. The price tag is still appealing on DraftKings at 67 for the minutes that he should play tonight. It's a bigger Knicks team, which makes you feel even confident that this game will stay pretty big and won't go small. And he's just a very fun player to roster just because he accumulates fantasy points very, very quickly. And it's a good matchup against the Knicks at home. Over at center, I love Nikola Jokic at 10-2. Just feel like he should be the highest priced center on the slate, higher than Towns, at least higher than Davis too. I like how you can play Siakam at center. I like Ibaka at 69, and maybe Favors if Ingram's out, just because they're gonna have to. There's a lot of minutes to go around. You should probably play like 25 to 26 at least. But I love Jokic here without just Plumlee. The minutes should still be high for him. They're getting Millsap back, but still expect like 35 to 36 minutes out of Jokic. Been so good as of late. He's really on a hot streak. Lots of triple-doubles lately. Lots of just monster fantasy games. Shooting the ball well. Really easy to get to him against a Suns team and defended by DeAndre Ayton. Not a great defender at all. So I love Jokic here. I also like DeAndre Ayton on the other side, but on DraftKings where Jokic is just like $1,000 more, I think it makes sense that Jokic should be able to get you like 6 more fantasy points than DeAndre Ayton, and that is basically what you need by paying up $1,000 more. And then over at forward, I like Kelly Oubre playing a couple like Murray and Jokic. I want to run it back with a Sun probably, and I like Oubre's price tag still like him a lot on DraftKings, just the way he's been playing lately. Aggressive, the number 2 scoring option on the team besides Devin Booker, and just Rubio doesn't really shoot that much. His usage has taken a big hit. You're getting like 8, 19, 20 shots from Oubre every night, and he's been knocking them down, a good rebounder as well for his position. It's a fine matchup at home. I think it's not a fine matchup. The Nuggets defense, they're much better at home, though, so the fact that they're traveling to Phoenix, I like that for the Suns tonight. So, yeah, that's what I'm liking for DraftKings for Fanduel. At point guard, there also are a handful of guys that stick out to me, and it's going to start with, like, Brogdon. It's right in this range. I like Brogdon, Ball, Dinwiddie, Murray, Jackson. If I had to rate them based on prices, it would be like Murray, Dinwiddie, Jackson, Brogdon, Ball. Maybe Ball would go higher if we know Brandon Ingram is out. If he's in, then I think these other guys look better. Right now, I like Jamal Murray, 64. Just on both sides, I think the matchup is great here against Ricky Rubio. The minutes should be there. Still missing Will Barton and missing Porter. So Murray looks fine here. The price tag is really nice. He has a huge ceiling. If he catches fire, he can easily put up 40, 50 fantasy points. Over at shooting guard, if Devin Booker looks good at 78, just a nice cheap price point for Devin Booker here on FanDuel. You also have good prices for Fred VanVleet, D'Angelo Russell if he's in at just 7,600. You have Karis LeVert at just 5,300. You have more value in Damian Lee, going to have to play a boatload of minutes for the Warriors. It is a scary matchup against the Lakers. And you have Jeremy Lamb and Davis, 4,000, and Beasley as well. So this position is pretty stacked here on FanDuel. So if I had to narrow down, I still like LeVert based on the price tag, the upside, everything that he has to offer. Playing backup point guard minutes as well for the team just gives him so much more usage. Playing a handful of minutes without Dinwiddie on the court, playing with a bunch of backups. So LeVert, when he's on the floor during those situations, he just takes the ball to the rack as much as he can, has the ball in his hands the entire time. So LeVert looks good at 53. At small forward, it's definitely Siakam. I love him as a pay-up option, 85, with all the injuries. I like Kelly Oubre, so cheap on FanDuel, 66. And I like Culver if he starts. Not a very fun player roster, but he's cheap enough. But really, Anunoby at 3,800 is another guy to go to. His minutes should be a lot more secure today without Lowry. Still missing the other guys, so should get you 30-plus minutes tonight. And Hernan Gomez, if he starts at 37, could be fine. But right now, I think Siakam just looks good. Just 8,500 against a Brooklyn defense. Going to get a usage bump without Lowry out there. And should be a lot more productive. At power forward, I like Sabonis, 81. Christian Wood, Aldridge, Ibaka. They're my four that stand out at the top. And then for value, it's going to be maybe not a lot of value at this position, so I kind of will probably just spend up. I don't think I'm missing anyone. You could take a shot on some of these Golden State guys just because there are a lot of minutes to go around, like Pascal if you want. But I don't think... And Kleber could be fine if Porzingis rests on a back-to-back. 45 would be a nice, cheap option there. But find it tough not to play Serge Ibaka against a Brooklyn team probably missing Gasol. I'm assuming Gasol's out for this game. But 63 is just really cheap. Gonna play a lot of minutes for him. He's been productive, and the matchup is one of the best you could ask for against a Brooklyn front court. And then over at center here is where it kind of gets tricky. I mentioned on DraftKings I love Jokic compared to DeAndre Ayton just because he's only $1,000 more, but on FanDuel he is $2,500 more than DeAndre Ayton. I think at that price difference, I think Ayton looks fine here. Ayton's at home. The matchup is going to be needed. They're going to need his size to defend Jokic. He's been fine against Jokic in some of the meetings that they had last year. Earlier this year when they played, he was suspended, so didn't really get to face him. But the minutes were down for him, 23. Kind of could have saw that coming with how small Houston plays. And also it was a back-to-back, so maybe they wanted to save him for Jokic because they know that this game they're going to need him out there. But at 9,200, if people don't go to him just because of what he did yesterday, I think it's a good spot to jump back on DeAndre Ayton. just because there's not a lot of other guys that look super good besides the top 3. Maybe you want to pay 58 for Harrell, but other than that, there's not like somebody that jumps off the page. And center is a spot where I kind of do like to pay up if I can. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You can drop a like if you did. Check out the website, links in description to get on board, and good luck today.